Hey, everybody, welcome to another Sunday morning conversation. Today, my guest is the famous Corey the Courier. Um, he's been a bicycle messenger in Philadelphia and New York City for many, many years now. So we talk about how that is and winning alley cat races and how, he tried to do back in, I think it is September, if I recall, he tried to go from the Keys all the way up to the Canadian border along the East Coast on a fixed gear bicycle and do it in world record pace under 8 days. So he's going to try that record again. So we talk a little bit about that and also alley cat races. They're different. I had never heard of them. So everybody, thanks for tuning in and I hope you enjoy. Hey, man.
Hello.
How are you?
Pretty good.
Good. So
I went to physical therapy and I was discharged from the hospital. So I guess according to them, I'm okay. And I don't have to keep working on my foot and my leg to regain mobility and range of motion.
This has to do with what happened during your ride from Key West all the way up to the coast?
No. 2 weeks after that, I broke my fibula and had to have surgery to get my bones put back together. So they got plate and screws holding my my lower extremity together. So
how did you do that?
I was just riding home, and it was probably less than a mile away from my house, the most dangerous place for a cyclist, and fell off my bike.
Oh, wow. Have you ever been hit before?
Dozens of times, yeah. But nothing serious. But this was just wiped out, and I thought it was just like a sprain, but the next day the pain was immense and the swelling coincided with it. So I took myself to the hospital and they're like, yep, it's broken and you have to have surgery.
I've been hit before. That's how I got my brain injury. So yeah, actually mine wasn't within the mile of the house. It was 15 miles away. If you can believe that. I live in Atlanta. Are you still living in New York?
Yes, I'm still in Brooklyn, New York.
Okay. So how long you've been a courier the whole time, right? How long have you been? I mean, you've been out the whole time. You couldn't ride a bike to be a courier anymore, right? Or do you have another job?
No. So I've been promoting grassroots bike events in Brooklyn. So that's been helping me out since all this stuff happened.
What kind of grassroots bike events?
So I have this series called Not So Friendly Laps, and I put on like a series of, like, right now I have March Midweek Madness, which is a series of Wednesday nights at Prospect Park in Brooklyn. And at the end of the 5-race series, the best man and woman rider from the series gets money towards a USA Cycling racing license. Last autumn in Queens, I threw a Cyclocross series, which was, fixed gear cyclocross bikes in the woods, fixed gear, no brakes, riding around. So I did that too.
Are any of these like those alley cat races? I read one of your articles that was written up about you, how you've won a lot of alley cat races and you weren't too humble about it. But I don't know anything about alley cat races. I guess it's like a bike messenger type thing that you guys all got going on.
Well, I've done well in a lot of alley cats, but the events that I'm promoting aren't alley cats. They're all in parks and they're off of public roads and sidewalks and stuff like that. So there's no chance of everyday people going about their business having to worry about somebody flying by at Mach 2 on their bicycle.
Tell me about an alley cat race, though. That's like, I had to look it up on Wikipedia. I'm like, this is kind of interesting. Like, it says it's a unsponsored type race. So are there any rules to this? Like, either, or is it just kind of anything goes, first person across the line?
Yeah, it's kind of like anything goes. I think the only rule is don't be mean to the checkpoint people, because they're the ones that have to sign off on everybody's manifest to acknowledge that a rider had passed like through a checkpoint on the way to the finish line.
I mean, what do people win out of this, or is it just kind of bragging rights?
Usually there's like little merchandise prizes, depending on who's organizing it. Sometimes there's like, a little cash bonus on the side, but the the whole idea of it is that it's really truly a messenger race. I know right now a lot of messengers are using apps which have the computer generated directions on how to get from point A to point B. But alley cats are truly for messengers who have an awareness of the city. And at any point in any given time, they can make a left, make a right, they can alter their route and pick the shortest distance between point A and B and between C, D, or make the option to skip C and go straight to F and then back to D, that kind of thing. So it's the most efficient way to travel around the city in a bike race.
So it's kind of like that whole knowledge of a 20-year cab driver in London who doesn't have to think about any streets or use a GPS. He can just make those calls on his own.
Yeah, it's kind of like the more you ride on streets, the more you, excuse me, the more you learn all the little side streets and the interconnections. And then all of a sudden inside of your head becomes Google Maps and you don't need the app to get you from one place to the other.
Do you still obey like traffic laws in those, or just kind of like a little bit liberal with following the rules there?
No, I mean, no, I know where I'm going, so I can always pick out the fastest route. So I don't feel the need to run red lights anymore. And then I'm not working in Manhattan, so when I ride around, I'm usually just going to either the bike shop, the grocery store, or to the gym. So I have time and I'm not rushed. So there's no reason for me to ride chaotically.
What kind of pay does a bike messenger get in New York?
It depends on the company. Anywhere from $100 to $300 a day.
Not bad. And do you have to ride a fixed gear or a single speed?
Nope, whatever gets you around. I think the industry is transitioning right now because a lot of people are using, they call them e-bikes, but I just call them throttle bikes because most of the riders don't even pedal anymore. They just get on and they push a throttle button and it goes. It gets them up to 25 miles an hour. There's no pedaling. There's no physicality to it. It's just all look down at the phone, which is attached to the handlebars, and then they figure out where they're going and they zoom there and drop off whatever, and that's it.
It seems kind of like cheating almost.
Yeah, so I kind of see those guys. I kind of like give them like the side eye, like you guys aren't real messengers. You're just, whatever.
It's kind of like riding a Vespa at that point.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is that a lot of these guys. Okay, so about like alley cats, and there's this whole mindset of like anything goes. Well, that's one thing with somebody on a push bike where they have to pedal. But when these guys are on these throttle bikes that have motors and engines, they're doing all this chaotic stuff in the streets and on the sidewalks. And these guys are going, upwards of 25 plus miles an hour anywhere and everywhere on the sidewalks in the street. And it just makes it hazardous for pedestrians, people walking their dogs, people walking their kids. It's just like a menace to everyone in traffic, everyone on a sidewalk. And
well, it's because you have to ride on the road no matter what, because it's illegal to ride on the sidewalk. At least it is in Atlanta.
No, it's illegal to ride a bike on a sidewalk in New York. But there was this thing for a while that people were saying like, oh, you guys are targeting immigrants for giving you these tickets, and like you guys gotta like stop dogging us out and stop confiscating this is our means of employment kind of thing. So then like the NYPD stopped giving out these tickets, and then the pandemic hit and forced all these people to start working from home. So everybody's ordering food delivery, and all these guys are all on these throttle bikes and they're zipping and zooming. But now as the restrictions are easing and people are starting to come back out and walk around the street, there's like this, this hive of chaos that's developed while everybody was indoors, and now it's mayhem, sort of.
I mean, does it do you do well enough being a messenger to pay your rent and everything? Because I mean, I really don't know. I never even thought about that as like an occupation.
Yeah, because I think what happens in New York is that because like the rent's so high, like instead of people having their own place, people have roommates, and that cuts the cost down on like rent and cost of living things.
Okay. Okay. And being in Brooklyn is cheaper, but probably not for long, right?
Like, yeah, Brooklyn was cheaper, but when the pandemic hit and there was like the mass exodus of a lot of people who thought like, well, if I don't have to work from at the office, why should I live in the city? And why do I have to pay this crazy rent? Because if I can, satellite work, I can work anywhere. Why do I have to pay, so many $1,000 a month to live in Manhattan? Why can't I can live in New Jersey, I can live on Long Island. Or some people even move to like other states in the Midwest where the cost of living is, like pennies to the dollar to what it is in New York, but still make New York money.
So you said you're done with physical therapy. Does your company have health insurance? I mean, I don't have any.
No. Right now, I'm only focusing on being an event promoter.
Okay. So you've had to do like something like Obamacare to kind of do all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Is it working out for you? I mean, I don't know. I just figured I'd ask.
No. It's all good. I've recovered. I've done I don't know, like five months of therapy. So I'm able to ride again. And about a week ago, I did a 100-mile event in Stillwater, Oklahoma.
That's I haven't been to Oklahoma. I just know of it. What did you think of that?
It was a good time. My buddy who is from like Tulsa, he actually helped out because Salsa donated 2 bikes. And my friend, he's a painter, he painted 1 bike, and that was a raffle that they gave away, and he had another bike. But it was a really good time. They had a 50K running event and then a 100-mile bike event. They also had a 50 and a 12-mile, but I did the 100-mile with a fixed gear bike through the mud and the gravel.
Oh, that's definitely a task. I would have taken the bike over the run, definitely, even though I will run. So when do you think you'll tackle that Keys to Maine ride again? That whole that ride that you tried earlier last year.
Yeah, I was thinking about. I wasn't gonna like really talk about it because I don't want to jinx myself. But I was thinking. No, because it like gnaws at the back of my head, like something that I wanted to do, but I didn't finish. So I'm actually thinking about doing it in June of this year.
How long do you think you anticipate that taking? Do you have set points along the way where I'm going to stop here today, do that, and you crash in like maybe a shitty motel or something?
Yeah, I think I got like three stops along the way. Like
3? That's it? Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the whole idea is like to set the Guinness World Record. So there's going to be a couple bits of sleep deprivation moments. So I go a couple days, stop, go a couple more days, stop, go a couple more days. So if I do it right, maybe 8 days, maybe a little more, maybe a little less.
Is it mostly flat, other than like like high arcing bridges?
I want to say mildly rolling because because most of the route is close to the coast. Yeah. So it's not like I'm going like over the mountains of Pennsylvania or going over the Sierras out in California, going over the Rockies and that kind of thing. It's, like mildly rolling hills.
Okay. And
yeah, so it's parallel to the Appalachian Trail, but I'm not on the Appalachians.
Do you have any kind of support crew or anything going into that? People meeting you places, or is it just going to be all on you, everything?
For the event that I tried to do in September, I had some stuff sent to friends in those 3 locations where I planned to just like ride until I got there. I would, take a shower, eat some food, go to sleep, wake up, eat a ton more food, and then like head out for another 2 days without sleep, and then do the same thing until and then repeat when I got to there, and then do the third one. And then the last bit is only, I think I had it scheduled out to do maybe 400 miles from the last checkpoint to the Canadian border.
How do you keep your lights charged during the night? Because mine only have like an hour and a half, 2 hours tops run time.
So I'm using like a Seika 1800 from Light in Motion, and they have 2 battery packs that last for a long time. So I just, and then it's like it's not like one of those clip-on lights. It's a pretty burly battery that weighs like a couple pounds in itself. So I have like a bigger one and a smaller one. And like I said, when I stop at those locations for about 8 hours to get some sleep, I can charge up both batteries to make sure that I have enough light and illumination for 2 nights, even though I probably only need illumination for 1.
Okay. Did you get any saddle sores on like your first run?
No. I'm also sponsored by Connect. They make suspension seat posts and stems. So all the pressure that normally happens between one prize part and the seat really gets lessened because the seat kind of flexes with the bumps on the road. And because I also try to put as much of the things I'm carrying in bike bags and in the saddle bags, so there's a lot less physical weight on my torso pushing my body down onto the saddle.
How much do you think weight with the bike and your bags do you carry with you? I mean, would you say like 50 pounds or more than that?
No, I don't need that much. Like I just basically like the clothes on my back, like a pair of like pajamas for like whenever I sleep over at somebody's house, and like the food I'm eating. That's about it.
How much food did you have to eat like per day? Like, what were you consuming too? What was the food?
Like regular food. Like for example, like I would do I used to do a training ride where I'd take a bus to Richmond, Virginia, and then ride back to New York. So I would ride about like 4 or 6 hours, stop at like a diner. I'd have like the Hungry Man breakfast, like the bacon, eggs, home fries, toast, and then get us another thing of like pancakes and sausage, orange juice and coffee. But probably like 2,000 or 3,000 calories right there on the spot. But I do that like every probably like 8 hours. So
Okay.
so I'm probably like, like 15,000 calories a day. Just keep chowing down. Because you can't just like live exclusively on energy bars, because you need fats and you need proteins and all kinds of minerals and nutrients that are in produce and that kind of thing.
Okay. So you don't actually have to eat a lot while you're riding then.
Oh no, you have to eat while you're riding. But like I said, like most of that stuff is usually always carbs. So that's why having like a full sit down meal with fats and proteins is always good. And it's also like a mental break where you're not staring at the road and you're, your nerves all keyed up to like be aware of where you're going and what's going on around you. So you don't have to focus on traffic. You don't have to focus on destination. You can just relax and just sit down for a bit.
Okay. I got one more question and I'll get you out of here on this. What was the strangest thing you saw on that ride?
It's like, it's weird. It's hard to describe, but sometimes when you're going and you're riding at night and you're kind of like sleep deprived, all of a sudden the trees that you see on the side of the road, they change and they look like other things, like aliens and monsters from like a crazy movie. But
actually, I'm with the brain injury, I do have sleep issues, so I'm familiar with. And you see squiggly lines sometimes, and lights kind of jitter sometimes, like that.
Yeah, like you'll see things out in the distance, and you're just like, wait, that's just a traffic light, or is it, or is it like an alien spaceship like hovering around, floating off somewhere? So usually at that point, that's when I need to pull over and eat something, because usually it's a sign of lack of nutrients, not enough protein, and not enough fat. So I've grown into there's like little things in the supermarket, these little cheese cubes, or like not cube, but like cheese circles, and I have them because like the fat is good for my brain.
Okay. Hey man, thanks for doing this interview for me. I appreciate it.
Sure, you're quite welcome.
All right, take it easy and good luck if you manage to do it in September.
No, I'm June.
June. Gotcha. I think it's September. All right.
Okay.
Thanks again, Corey.
Sure. Have a great day.